Hello. Today I'm going to be showing you guys, do a review with you guys for test 6. And start right up here. Now there's really like 4 main ideas here. The first one is going to be a graphing one where they're going to ask you to solve the system by graphing. And there's 2 equations. The first one is y equals x plus 2. And the second one, I'm going to use a different color for the second one since I'll be graphing, which is y equals 3x plus 6. All right, so remember when you're solving by graphing, I'm going to graph the 2 lines and I'm looking for where they intersect, okay, which would be 1 point. It's not an inequality, it's not shading, it's straight up graphing, just 2 lines. All right, so the first one, the blue line, y-intercept is 2, which you can see is right there, and the slope is what's in front of that x, which there's an implied 1 there. So the slope will be 1 over 1, and the y-intercept will be 2. And I'm going to graph that line right on this graph here. Blue line, slope, y-intercept is 2. Slope is 1. Positive slope goes up and to the right. So it's going to go straight up like this. These are all solid lines. And there's the first one. Second one is the red line, which is y equals 3x plus 6. Which means I'm going to start at the y-intercept of 6, which is 2, 4, 6 up here. And then I'm going to do a slope of 3. Now positive slope goes that way up and to the right, so I'm going to run out of space. So instead of going up and to the right, I'm going to go down and to the left. Remember, this could be a slope of 3 over 1, down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1, 2, 4, 6. And so on and so on. So that's where I am. And now I'm going to make that line. And I'm going to look for the point of intersection, okay? Looks like the point of intersection looks like it's right here, which are a pair of coordinates, which would be -2, 0. Now, it's not enough just to write that. You got to check it. You got to plug the numbers into both equations. So x is the -2 and the y is 0. So if I plug them into that blue equation first, I get 0 equals -2 plus 2. So that's 0 equals 0. That one's good. And I'll check it in the red one as well. Y is still 0. 3 times x is -2 plus 6. So that's -6 plus 6 equals 0. And therefore 0 equals 0. And I'm good. So it works in both. Okay? So that's how you solve by graphing. That's the first problem. Second problem, going up here, which is for substitution. So remember, solve by substitution. In order to do this, you got to have x equals or y equals. And if you don't have that, you need to manipulate the equation to get it. So I got the system of equations is x equals -y plus 1. And the other equation is 2x plus 3y equals -4. All right, so I have x equals, which is perfect. It means I'm going to take that -y plus 1 and I can substitute it in there for that x. You have to use parentheses, otherwise you'll get the wrong answer every time. 2 times or almost every time. -y plus 1 plus 3y equals -4. All right, so all I did was take that -y plus 1, substitute it in for the x. Make sure you got one variable left after that. If you got x's and y's after you've done your substitution, you made a mistake and probably substituted in for the wrong variable. All right, 2 times -y is -2y. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3y equals -4. All right, I'm getting close. I need to combine like terms. They're on the same side of the equal sign, so just add them together. -2 plus 3 is 1y. Plus 2 equals -4. Get close. Minus 2 from both sides. I get y equals -6. And there's my first answer. Okay. Now I'm going to take that -6 and plug it into either equation. Pick the one that's easier. Don't do more work than you have to. I'm going to take that top equation. I'm going to take that -6 and plug it in here. All right, so this one's kind of interesting because I have a negative, and then the y is also negative, which means I got a double negative, which makes it positive. So -6 is +6 plus 1 is 7. And that's the answer. All right, now you should probably go check it. You can plug them into the other equation and see what you get. 2 times x is 7 plus 3 times y is -6. That better come out to -4, otherwise we've made a mistake and we should go check our work. So that's 14 plus -18 equals -4, and this one's good. All right, so that's how you do the substitution. The next one I'm going to do is on elimination. And remember, elimination is where you either add or subtract straight down. If you can, sometimes you got to multiply one or sometimes both equations by something. With this one, I'd love to add straight down immediately, but I can't because nothing cancels out. These are pretty good. Those have a lot of potential there because I can multiply the bottom equation by -2 and get the x's to cancel. Now, if you wanted the y's to cancel, I could also multiply the bottom equation by 6, and then I'd have 6y in the top and -6y in the bottom. So that would be my other option. I think I'm going to do the x's here. So I'm going to multiply this whole thing by -2. And when I do that, I get -4x. -2 times -y is +2y. -14 times -2 is +28. I'm just going to rewrite the other equation right above it. The other one doesn't have to change. And then I can add straight down. Those cancel. And I'm going to get my first answer real quick. 8y equals 48. Divide by 8. Get y is 6. And that's the first answer. Now I need to know what y is also, so I'm going to take either equation, whichever one's easier. I'll take that 2x minus y equals -14, 1. And I'll plug in 6 for y. So I got 2x minus 6 equals -14. Add 6. I get 2x equals -8. Divide by 2. And I'll get my second answer of x equals -4. So those are my answers, -4 and 6. And you should probably go check them. I already done this problem out a couple times. I know that's the right answer, so I'm going to skip the check part in the interest of time. Okay, so that was number 3. Number 4 is a straight up graphing problem. And this one's graphing an inequality. And it is 3y is greater than or equal to -2x minus 6. All right. So one of the things that's tricky about this one is I don't have y equals. Or y is greater than. I have the y alone. I'd like to have the y all alone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide everything by 3. Everything by 3. And then I get y. I didn't divide by a negative number. If I divide by a negative number, you'd have to switch the arrow the other direction in the greater than or less than symbol. But that's not the case here. I just wanted to point it out. I'm dividing -2 divided by 3, which is -2 over 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2, so it's -2 since it was -6. Now I'm going to graph that. Okay. So I'm going to start at the y-intercept, which is -2. And I'm going to do my negative slope goes that way, so I'm going to go up and to the left, which is up 2, left 3, up 2, left 3. There we go. This is going to be a solid line because it has the or equal to underneath it there. All right. And this we go. There's my solid line. Now, since it's y is greater than, or y is greater than or equal to, I'm going to shade above the line. Which will be everything on that side. And you can plug in 0, 0 to check it if you'd like. When I plug in 0, 3 times 0 is 0. Negative 2 times 0 is 0. Minus 6 is 0 greater than or equal to negative 6. Yes, it is, which means this is the side of the line that you shade. You checked it. You're good. All right. My last problem, number 5, is a system of inequalities. Graph y is greater than or equal to negative 4x plus 1. And the other line, I'm going to do in red, is y is greater than or equal to 3x plus 6. All right, so I'm going to graph them both. I'm going to do this with the arrow techniques. I kind of like that way. The blue line has a y-intercept of 1, slope of negative 4. So that would be negative 4 over 1. That's up 4, left 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, left 1. I ran out of space. I can go down 4, right 1, which is here. Okay, that will be a solid line. Here, straight down. There we go. The other one, red line, oh, and this is y is greater than, so I'm going to shade above the line, which is this side. This one's pretty steep, so it's a good example of looking at, it's really where that line crosses the y-axis. That's the part that's above it, so you can see that this is the part that you're shading, okay? Anyway, the other one, y is greater than 3x plus 6. Plus 6 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the y-intercept. Positive 3 is down 3, left 1, down 3, left 1. That'll be my slope. And once again, it's a solid line because it's greater than or equal to. The numbers that are greater than are over here on this side, which means the area that's going to be shaded is that little V up here. If I had a bigger graph, it would probably show more of it, but that's the part that's shaded. You can see those are where the arrows point at each other, and that's the solution. So any point inside that shaded, double shaded area would be a solution to that. There's an infinite number of solutions because there's an infinite number of points in that region. Okay, and that was the last problem I got for you guys today. That was number 5. So that's your review for the test, and I'll see you all soon. Close things out with a little bit more in excess.